Welcome to today's webinar. It is titled Game Changer, a Tech Integration to Boost Productivity and Save Time. It is with PreciseFP and FP Alpha. And for today's presenters, my name is Nora Gallegos. I'm the Financial Planning Thought Leader with PreciseFP. I mainly focus on community and content, and I have my undergrad in journalism, my master's in business, and then I've been working in financial technology for about 10 years now, working with offices one-on-one on best practices and practice management. So have a lot of experience in the tech stack. And I'm joined with Brad Fry from FP Alpha, and I'll give Brad a moment here to go ahead and introduce himself as well.
Nora, thank you so much. Greatly appreciate it. I love the crowd. We've still got people just pouring in here. But my name is Brad Fry. I'm sure that I've run across some of you at some point in my life because I've been in the fintech world for well over a decade. Most of those years, about 7 years at eMoney, and have worked at many other fintech providers like Advisor Engine, Skyence, and others. I'm really excited to be here. I do head up broker-dealer sales here, overall enterprise sales at FP Alpha, and I really feel that we're on a really cool rocket ship, similar to where I was at eMoney, gosh, starting in 2012. It's crazy that it was that long ago. I really feel that FP Alpha is on this rocket ship right now, and we're so excited to be partnered with a great partner like PreciseFP and this deep integration that we have. So excited. I'll let you kind of, Nora, kick it off again with what you wanted to present, but excited to go through it in much deeper format today.
Yep, exactly. Thank you so much, Brad. So yeah, we have a long-standing partnership with FP Alpha. They are a good friend of the company. The partnership and the integration that we have with them has been enhanced recently. So, I feel like when we talk about integrations or enhancements, it's almost like this vague concept or abstract concept. So we really wanted to jump on a call today and go through all of the functionality between the two. So first we'll talk about PreciseFP. So PreciseFP is a data gathering software. So oftentimes when you're onboarding a client or they're coming in for an annual review, you need that most up-to-date information, that good, clean data. And I know that you've heard that in the CRM world as well. So PreciseFP is going to accomplish that good, clean data, eliminate that bottleneck of getting that data onto other systems. So typically, you might jump on a call with a client or a prospect for like 30 minutes, going through a bunch of questions, handwriting them, and then data entering, manually entering them into your system, and then copying and pasting into all of the different software that are included in your tech stack. So PreciseFP is going to eliminate all of that. You're going to be sending a safe, secure link over to your client or your prospect, and then they're going to be filling out their own information. So then that good, clean data that they're filling out is going to go right from them to you and then all to your tech stack. So you want to make sure that, you think of a process where, you maybe start your prospect process in PreciseFP, but if they exist in your CRM already, you pull them in from your CRM so that way the forms get pre-filled so your clients aren't just getting a blank form ever again. So we've been in the business 16 plus years. We have 30 plus integrations, including our great friends here at FP Alpha. And typically you're going to be using it as a fact finder. That's going to be the go-to spot, especially initially, is going to be using that fact finder to get as much information that you need to create a successful financial plan. But it definitely goes beyond that. We have some offices using us as a service agreement solution. We have risk tolerance, IPS, lead generation. a whole template library that comes pre-built into the system, as well as some light workflows. So we'll go ahead and jump into PreciseFP and show you exactly what we mean by that. So when you log into PreciseFP, there's you're going to have an initial screen that's kind of like your front page news of what's going on for you in the office. So when you go to PreciseFP, you log in, this is going to be the screen that you see. So you can see how many people are in the prospect stage, how many clients you have. You can see a kind of a running record here of all of the back and forth that's happening between you and your contacts. And if you go over here to the templates area, this is where you're going to access that form library. If you've never gone into PreciseFP, start here. This form library is pre-baked. Like I said, it comes already built for you in the system. And it's honestly, we have a lot of users just saying that if they were to give advice to anyone who's new using PreciseFP, to just start here and use what's already built. And then once you kind of get a hand on things, and it's really easy to get off the ground running, then you can get more creative and jump into creating things on the go or using some of the other tools that are available. So you'll notice right here in the middle of the screen, there is an FP Alpha specific fact finder. So if I click on that, I'm going to choose to preview this. And right away when you see this initial screen, you'll notice my picture is there. All of these things are completely customizable by you. So you want to think about your brand, your office, your process, and how you want the look and feel to be, because you can change the text, you could change the color, you could change the font, you can add in more images. You can add as much customization to make it feel like it's coming from your desktop or, your office. So I put my picture here, but we've seen offices add in their logo, add in, a picture of their geographic location, just to add that nice warm touch. And then, we're just signing off here, giving some basic directions. And then when we start this engagement, you'll notice that some of these items have a star next to them. That means that these are mandatory. So that means that a person cannot move on to the next page until these fields are filled out. So you want to think driver's license, social security, any of those items that are going to result in NIGO, you want to think about making those mandatory, because even in a CRM, you could build a whole entire workflow around onboarding and the fields that you need to gather in order to say you've successfully added a client. Well, using PreciseFP kind of eliminates that because you can make those fields mandatory. And once you get this engagement returned, then you have all of the information you need at the bare minimum to say you've successfully added a client. And prospects are a different game, right? We have a bunch of lead magnets even available that are just a bare minimum. Maybe it's first name, last name, and email address, because sometimes that's the only information that a prospect feels comfortable giving you at first. So you just want to kind of strategize there. But if I go down here, like I said, this is what's pre-built into the system, but you can always add to this. So you might want to add in a field that says, who can we thank for referring you? And you can add that in very quickly. Or in your CRM, maybe you have those relationship builder questions. You're trying to gather their military service branch, their favorite restaurant, their pet's name. You can add those in as fields as well, so you can get more of those relationship builder questions. And it's really great to send this off before a discovery meeting in your prospect process. So that way you have all of these fields in front of you during that meeting, and you can have a conversation about them and build from there instead of spending that initial meeting just going over, what's your name, who's your employer, what are your children's names. Those can be all done in the front end and at the convenience of your investor. So it's not like, we need to find a time and date that works between us and gather all of that information. Instead, you're sending them that secure link that requires authorization or authentication. And then from there, they can fill it out whenever they have time. And it saves as they go. So if they need to stop and pick back up, that's an option as well. So if this person has a spouse, they can add in the co-client, put in those details, and then it'll go into the children next. So really, bare information there for the children. But if you want to ask them if they have a 529 plan for the children, if they plan to attend private school, those are all things you can add in as well. And then this is the really important part because with our partnership with FP Alpha, you're getting a lot of that financial level information. So, of course, you're getting contact details that are going to pre-fill those questionnaires for you in FP Alpha. But then you're also getting the financial level information over into FP Alpha as well. So I know that the estate planning portion is especially important. But if I scroll down here, your contacts can go ahead and fill out these fields and then they'll go into FP Alpha. So you want to make sure that you're just thinking about it as an office beforehand of do we want to add to it, do we want to even slim it down? You have that option as well. And then once it's good to go and ready, once you have it, it's a very simple process. You would just go to accounts on the left. And if you wanted to engage with Annie Anderson, so that way you can get her over into FP Alpha, you can choose engage with a form and choose on that form that we were just looking at. And then from there, it'll go ahead and give you the option to send it off. And you want to go ahead and send it, review it first, because if you review it, that means it'll pre-fill it. So I'll install this here first. That'll be my first step. I'll go back to accounts, back to Annie, and just show I engage with a form, choose FP Alpha Fact Finder. This is that button I was talking about where you want to review and edit first. So when I choose create and edit, it'll pre-fill it. So you don't ever have to give them that poor experience of giving them that blank form. Everything will already be populated for you. And here's that authentication method I was talking about as well. Because this is a high security level form, we're talking about, financial level information, they're going to need to authenticate. So I have Annie's email and her phone number. So I can either choose to send a text message with a code that she'll need to enter in or email that out, or she can choose to create some login credentials. But just really quickly, I'll create and edit that and just show you that when I move through the fact finder, it's going to be pre-filled. So this is really great for client review time because instead of, maybe this family moved on us and they didn't even, give us that update, or maybe they had a new grandchild and they didn't let us know about it. This gives them the opportunity to just give it a once over before your client review meeting. So that way they can go ahead and review anything, make any changes that are incorrect or missing. And then from there, you can update your other system. So if they added in something or they changed something, it'll update your records in, let's say, your CRM. So a lot of power there, and that's going to be the initial part of PreciseFP is that data gathering. making sure that you're communicating with clients, beyond onboarding and that client review, because there's a whole template library available. And then just eliminating that human error, that data entry, that copying and pasting, so that way everything is going over automatically. So I'll hand it over to Brad. And then, like I said, if there's any questions, feel free to throw those in the chat box or the question box, and we're happy to answer those as well.
That Nora, that was great. I know how much data entry can cause firms to just have serious angst, and no one really wants to do duplicate entry. You guys are such a great tool. I think it's one of the more underrated tools out in the industry right now, and we're so excited to have a partnership with you and talk about that a little bit more today. So thank you so much for that. I'm going to segue over into the FP Alpha platform. I think it's fair for those that are on the line that may not know about us exactly what we do. So I'll give you a quick overview of FP Alpha and our story. Look, early 2000s, even into the late 2008, 2009, 10, 11, financial planning was still kind of foreign to many advisors. Only about 1 in 10, 2 in 10 advisors were doing financial planning. Well, now, today, if you don't have e-money, if you don't have Money Guide Pro, if you don't have Right Capital, you're getting left behind. Pretty much every advisor is doing what I would call traditional holistic financial planning. However, fintech has not done a good job keeping up with um, with where the client's wants and needs are. A lot of advisors are telling us our clients want more help with advanced income tax planning, estate planning, and that's where we come in. We start helping advisors with what we call advanced planning. FP Alpha was designed to help you do more advanced planning when it comes to tax, when it comes to estate, when it comes to insurance. We were founded by a financial advisor that happens to use eMoney. Andrew Altfest is our founder and CEO. You can read about his story on our website. Andrew was really struggling and finding that more and more clients were asking for that deeper tax estate insurance help. And he was struggling because eMoney was not satisfying his needs. Well, he created FP Alpha out of that frustration, and here we are today, absolutely on a rocket ship right now. And again, so excited to be working with the likes of uh, PreciseFP. And honestly, we have a few other partners out there as well. Yes, PreciseFP is one of them, but you can see that we do integrate with the top three CRMs in our industry: Money Guide Pro, Nitrogen, and Orion. And because of PreciseFP, we are able to pull data into our platform from both eMoney and Right Capital as well. And that is why this relationship is so great, because I would say probably 50% of prospects that come to us, maybe 60, are eMoney users, and the rest are either Money Guide or Right Capital. So it's a really, really strong integration. It does fill out a lot of our fact finder, our general platform here. What we're hearing again from advisors is that they are struggling because they want to do deeper tax and estate planning for their clients, but they don't have the time of day to read those documents. You guys can all raise your hands, but does everybody have time to read all of your clients' tax returns, all of their wills, all of their trusts, all of their powers of attorney, etc.? I'm sorry, but everybody just doesn't, especially those solo advisors that have very small staffs. We're even talking to very large enterprises as well that even have estate planning divisions and CPAs built in-house. They have them in-house and they're coming to us because they just want to be able to scale this. FP Alpha all starts with documents. All we need is the client's tax returns and their estate planning documents. their insurance documents, and we can scan those. And what we will do is we will visualize those documents in a much easier to read format that we call a snapshot. So for tax, for instance, just give us that client's 1040. We'll upload it into the system here in a PDF format, and we will visualize it for you in, again, that much easier to read format that we call a tax snapshot. We will also offer recommendations on how to improve that situation. We're not asking you all to become CPAs. We have built-in disclaimers on the platform for you that you can customize as well. In my opinion, every advisor should be quarterbacking these conversations, though, with their CPA. You should be building partnerships with these CPAs. You should be building partnerships with these estate planning attorneys in order to help improve your client's situation. And again, what we will do is we will visualize that tax return into a much easier to read format that we call a snapshot. So let's have this snapshot load here for this particular client, the prices, and go through this together. And again, we don't want to replace what is going on in an eMoney, a Right Capital, a Money Guide Pro, a NAV plan, and so on. Those tools do a great job in cash flow, in retirement, in goal planning, portfolio management. We are trying to help in those deeper, more complex conversations when it comes to tax and when it comes to estate. Here we're looking at a client that's married, filing jointly, and they own a business. And we're looking at their tax rates and their tax brackets, their cap gains losses, their federal taxes paid. We show you their income in a numerical and visual fashion. And we even show you their tax brackets broken down on both the federal and state side. We show you their deductions, standard and itemized, and their charitable contribution deductions as well. We give you a great visual. This is one of the more favorite visuals here. Looking at their Magi tiers and where a client sits in those Magi tiers. Notice the legend down below. We do a great QBI analysis for those business owners. And we have one of the top Roth conversion simulators in the industry. This here is just a tease. It's a great conversation starter on Roth, on where they are from an income perspective and what's remaining in that federal tax bracket. We go over IRMA, aka Medicare premiums, their estimated tax safe harbor. Every advisor is looking to uncover held away assets, and Schedule B does not lie. Schedule B is a great way to see where all those held away assets are. Tax credits for the state of Oregon, for example, and wherever the client resides, we want them to make sure to take full notice with their CPA. We have to remember that CPA attorneys are somewhat transactional advisors, so they only meet with the client periodically, where you're with your clients all the time. So sometimes they can be a little sloppy. Sometimes they really don't know everything about the client like the advisor does. We
Oh,
do
sorry,
finish up
Brad.
our
Can you
tax
repeat that
snapshot with some
part
great
about,
education.
sorry, can you repeat that part after the Schedule B part? It kind of cut out a little bit. But I
Yeah,
had a
sorry for
question
being off
too.
video today. Yeah, go ahead, Nora.
Oh yeah, yeah. I was just wondering for the like if somebody had assets held away with another advisor, is that going to show up there as well?
Exactly, Nora. That's exactly right. Schedule B shows all the client's interest and dividends, both held with and held away from the financial advisor.
Great. Thank you.
No worries. And yeah, we cover the tax credits. These are the tax credits for where a client would reside. And then we do finish it up with some educational material on long-term care, HSA, stuff that most advisors know, but these are great reminders, Social Security, and even about current legislation like the Secure Act 2.0. Now, after the snapshot, we would offer recommendations on how to improve the client's situation. Those recommendations are going to come in multiple forms. Again, Depending on what modules I choose, FP Alpha happens to have 16 total modules built into our platform. We're only talking just about a couple today. I really think that we focus on a lot of the boutique, bespoke areas of planning. And again, when it comes to recommendations, we're going to show a lot of those recommendations to you in a verbal format. What the advisors do is save these recommendations to their task manager. We happen to integrate with both Redtail and Salesforce for those tasks saving in the task manager. Again, you guys get to pick and choose since you know the client the best on what recommendations are most pertinent to them. We also have a couple of simulators built into the platform. We have our tax projector tool and our Roth conversion simulator. Just for sake of time, I don't want to go super deep into these, but I will highlight a couple of basic ideas in here. I want to make sure to give some justice to our estate side of things. Again, our Roth conversion simulator is one of the top Roth conversion simulators out there. I will put it up against any of our, the traditional planning tools. We've won several awards. In fact, we are nominated for another Wealthy with our Roth conversion simulator. So really invite you to come take a peek at this. A couple of differentiators that we have. We do have an optimizer built into the platform. We also allow you to turn on and off the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act. You can choose whether or not you want to pay the conversion from an alternate outside account. And we also show what the value of this conversion would be to their heirs. So again, I'm happy to send out sample reports on these, or you can sign up for a trial going to fpalpha.com. You can request a demo, request more information out on our website if you choose to do so. But again, our Roth conversion simulator, very, very strong, one of the tops out there. A lot of you might be on the line right now and say, wow, this sounds a lot like Holistiplan. Yes, we are a direct competitor to Holistiplan. I feel that we have some interesting differentiators that we have from Holistiplan. One of those is our Roth conversion simulator is really strong. And we also do have a tax projector tool as well. And again, just for sake of time, I'll kind of talk a little bit about highlights of our tax projector tool. In our tax projector tool, you are able to pull in the data from the current tax return. Because we are scanning the document for you, you're not having to manually type this in. This is where we're going to utilize our artificial intelligence to scan those documents, pull that data in, and then you can start doing projections. As you know, when you want to do projections, those tax projections would be what state are they moving to? Do they have another child? Are they exercising stock options? Are they moving from single to married? Are they getting divorced? There could be a lot of things. Are they doing QCDs? Are they selling their business? This is where they can do those projections and show what those changes would mean in their current tax situation. But in our simulator, in the tax projector tool, there is a little bit of an area in here that does allow you to go deeper into, here's the federal side, and then the state is down here a little bit. This is kind of the extent of what we want to do. We're always taking suggestions, Andy. If you want to, send me something separately, my email, everyone, is bfrey at fpalpha.com. I love to hear suggestions. I know that that is one area where both a Holistiplan and us could improve. And I know a lot about our roadmap, but I don't know everything on there. I know that that's an area that we want to address at some point in the future for sure. But there is some great areas in here. One area that's a little bit different between us and Holistiplan is we do allow you to dive deep into each schedule. This is one differentiator between us and our competition.
Okay, perfect. And I
Any
had
other
a
questions?
question. Is this something that would be client facing? Would you have your client in the conference room going through this page, or is it something you would provide in like a report?
Beautiful thing, Nora, is you really can do both. So yes, we do hear a lot of advisors like to pop this on the screen. Think of those great e-money users out there, maybe some of them that I sold to many moons ago, that utilize the decision center in a flat screen TV in their office. You could absolutely pop this tax snapshot up there and the simulators up on the screen for sure. There is a client-friendly site that you can give to them. It's mainly to fill out the data and documents area. However, hopefully they're going to do that utilizing PreciseFP, right? We don't want to steal your thunder. But yes, a lot of those are going to pop them up on the flat screen TV, but we have a reports area where you can generate all the reports in a PDF format as well.
Really
Is
great.
that helpful?
Yes, yes, definitely.
Uh, well, one final area that I wanted to hit, Nora, and the nice thing is the workflow here is not much different than what happened in tax, but we are ingesting and taking in estate planning documents, wills, trusts, DOAs, healthcare directives, uh, amendments, all those great documents, and we're visualizing them. We're visualizing them for the client and then offering recommendations and insights on how to improve that overall situation. Those recommendations, or those documents get transformed into a visual that looks exactly like this. Here is the estate snapshot going through. We go through and show you all the documents that we pulled in and when they were signed. And then we visualize a family tree for the client. We then show you their wills broken down, their trust broken down. Notice how we call out trustees, powers of attorney, springing, is it springing or is it not, what the governing law is, the POAs. And then this is the great part here. We actually visualize the flow of the estate, showing how the wills are going through this trust, splitting out into a couple of other trusts, and during the lifetime and upon death, what exactly is happening. And then we'll break down each document for you in bullet point detail, each will, each trust, and so on. The traditional planning tools have failed the advisors in this area and have not done a good job visualizing that. We're one of the very few, other than creating your own proprietary PowerPoint or Visio or Word document, that actually does that. We then, of course, would offer recommendations on how to improve that situation. The goal, again, is to quarterback the conversation with the estate planning attorney, okay? But you are also able to help the client visualize exactly what's going on in their estate in our estate lab. This is where I'm going to kind of finish up my demo for today, and that is the estate lab. This is second to none. Think of this as the e-money decision center on steroids, or guide wealth studios, etc. There's even a little bit of these tools in Right Capital, but not a lot. This is where your guys' information, Precise FP, really, really helps us out, and we're so appreciative of it, Nora. This is where that fact finder is incredibly valuable, because we'll pull that information in from Precise FP from our friends at eMoney or Right Capital. We can pull that data in and help fill out this fact finder, which would then produce a nice balance sheet and net worth statement. From there, though, the advisor is able to build out the client's current estate situation and show the assets flowing through as well. Notice at the bottom of this screen as well, where I am calculating down to the dollar what their current estate tax impact is. This is great because we have all the federal institutions built into the platform. Brad, I wish you could show strategies on how to improve that situation. Well, we can. We have the ability for the advisor to then model out popular estate planning concepts, i.e., trust concepts, call it ILETs, IDGITs, DAFs, dynasties, CUPERTs, all those fun acronyms that everybody on this call understands way better than I do. You are able to model out these situations, marital ABs, ABCs, things like that, And then you can show the positive impact of those, trust concepts within the tool by turning on this strategies button. It'll recalculate for you what that new tax bill was. If you remember, prior to me pushing that button, it was $1.7 million. I've just saved this client $700,000 by implementing an irrevocable life insurance trust and 4 gifting strategies. Nora, I can't tell you how important your data is from PreciseFP to help advisors in this area. So we're really, really thankful specifically in this area for the great integration with PreciseFP.
Yes, I agree. When you mentioned scalability, and you cannot scale if you do not have these technologies in place, because let's say you start adding this service onto your clients tomorrow. Well, getting all of your clients onto getting all that data gathered, getting them onto the platform, it allows for that scalability. So you want to make sure that your office is set up for your growth, whether that's, we're going to grow our internal team by 5 people, or we're going to try to grow our client base by 500 people this year. It definitely is going to allow for that scalability.
In the tax planning, can you separate dividends, interest by spouse, individual? Right now, you cannot do that. But Kyle, thank you for asking on that one. Something that may be an enhancement in the future. Please contact us if you want some more information. I'm happy to give a little bit more personalized demo if need be. You can request a demo here right at fpalpha.com. Contact us. I saw that Nora put my email in the chat area as well. Don't hesitate to contact me directly. I am mainly out of pocket for the remainder of this week, but I am answering emails as quickly as I can, and I have a teammate backing me up also. Um, Nora, I hope that this was extremely valuable for folks. Again, we are in an area right now that I think advanced planning is one of those areas that is getting a massive issue. It's table stakes for every advisor to be doing cash flow planning. It's table stakes for them to be doing goal planning. That's a layup. Every advisor is doing that now, but there is a big shift over to this. And I feel that we're a great, valuable tool, and you guys are a great partner to really help us out in that.
Thank you. Yes, definitely. So, kind of what we want to emphasize today is you have all of this information inside of your e-money, your right capital. What you're going to do is you're going to be able to pull that into PreciseFP, and then from PreciseFP into FP Alpha. So, if I go back into the system here, let's say we wanted to pull someone in from e-money or right capital, you could click on that plus sign in the top right hand corner. And this also goes to Kyle's question. Kyle asked earlier, is it possible to pull from an existing CRM outside of FP Alpha to populate client information? And how do we do so? This is going to be your process as well, Kyle. So you'll go to the silhouette of a person here on the left. It's called accounts, and then you'll choose on all accounts to get started. And that plus sign in the top right hand corner, that's how you're going to add anyone new into your system. And instead of choosing the manual option, you're going to go over a tab to import. So right here, you'll notice I have my CRMs turned on and I have right capital. You have e-money, you can turn that on. It'll be here in the list as well. But this is going to be your best practice, guys. If they already exist in your CRM, they already exist in Wealthbox, import them over first. And the reason why we suggest that is, first of all, you don't have to send them that blank form where they're like, I've been working with you for 20 years. How do you not know my first name or my address? And second is for that proper connection to happen. So if somebody is inside of Wealthbox, you'll choose that Wealthbox option and go ahead and type in the first few letters of somebody's name, and it just depends on who I have in mind. I have a Pam over in Wealthbox. So I'll choose her from the list. I know she's a client, so I'll choose her as a client and choose import. And you'll notice it's going to take a few seconds. It's going to import from Wealthbox into PreciseFP. And it's not a light thing that's happening here. What I mean by that is if I go over to our help desk, what I'll go to the question mark here on the left and go to our knowledge base. I know I'm a visual person, so seeing all of the fields that come over is really helpful. So depending on what CRM you have, if you have Redtail, if you have Wellbox, you could pull up a mapping table. And if I scroll down this list, you're going to notice there are more than 100 fields. So when you're importing somebody over from Redtail, these are all of the fields that are going to be coming over. So you have that contact level information, you have that account level information, all feeding over from your CRM. So this is going to be a best practice is to pull them from your CRM first and then start your engagement with them. And I can just keep scrolling and it stops at liabilities. But now I have Pam inside of my system from Wealthbox. And then from there, I would go ahead and engage with her. So I would go ahead and choose her name, choose engage, and then send off that form, and it would be pre-filled. So that's going to be your best practice. And then same thing, what we were talking about with the right capital or with the e-money, you have to be using PreciseFP if you want to cut off a large part of the process. So if you want to pull someone over from Right Capital, you can same thing, just start typing in somebody's name and then it'll allow you to import them in. So you would import them in into PreciseFP and then from PreciseFP into FP Alpha. So tons of connectivity there. It's really serving as that bridge where you're able to get that information that you need for FP Alpha into FP Alpha because Precise FP is that bridge from eMoney and Right Capital, getting that data over and getting you the great reports, getting you those great visuals and that incredible power with that Roth conversion area, with the tax information, and of course that estate area. I also wanted to show, I know that Brad talked about how that is almost like a underutilized part of an advisor's practice. You know, there's tons of research out there saying that sometimes clients feel that there's parts of their financial picture that are being neglected. So Brad mentioned, you know, that there's a lot of feedback saying that the tax isn't being addressed or their estate planning isn't being addressed. So I just really wanted to really quickly show this slide here. This is from the Spectrum Group in 2021. This is showing the client's expectations versus the services that they're actually receiving. And you'll notice there is a big gap. You know, there both of these colors are blue, but you'll notice that dark blue is carried all the way out. You know, the lowest number there is 65%, and then the light blue is kind of tucked within a lot further. So people want that tax planning advice. 92% of people want it, and 25% of people are receiving it. Or if we look at the estate planning, 93% of people want it, 22% of people are receiving it. So a lot of powerful numbers there. You can definitely add to your service offer, add to the customer service level that you're offering your clients by just putting this into your process and offering it. And maybe, you know, it seems like a daunting thing to add these on. Start with your top clients first. You know, most often you're using your CRM to rank your clients. Maybe you're ranking them A, B, C, D, A, AA, AAA. start with those A clients first, those triple A clients first, and expose them to your tax planning services with FP Alpha. And then kind of, depending on their ranking, maybe you can introduce it to the next level, or maybe you keep it exclusive to those clients that have the most assets, that are out there advocating, bringing you in referrals, that have a good relationship with you. You can kind of start there and trickle your way down as a way of like, how am I going to handle this? Or, a great time is client reviews. Everyone is going to come into your office at least annually. So maybe at that client review is when you start introducing this service. Brad showed how quickly it is. You just get that document from them. And you could even use PreciseFP to securely gather that document. And then, like you said, you just drag and drop it into FP Alpha. I'm sure it takes seconds, to go ahead and get the analysis. And then from there, you can start to have that conversation in that client meeting. And then, you start today, and then within a year, you'll be caught up, assuming everyone is coming in once a year for their review. So that's kind of a way that you can, address it or handle it. But definitely be aware of, these statistics where, these are the kind of things where people might start catching on, especially if people start talking to each other. I talk to my neighbor and they're like, oh, my advisor is giving me estate planning or is offering tax planning services. And I'm sitting there like, my advisor doesn't. Those are ways where people can actually move their business to other advisors if they feel like they aren't receiving those services.
Stuff, Nora. I did see one other question from Victor, Nora, that I wanted to address about Ray Capital. Yeah, so Victor, great question. He'd asked, doesn't Ray Capital do a lot of what we're doing? 99% of the people that come to FP Alpha are using and will still use eMoney, Ray Capital, Money Guide Pro, or so on. They're going to keep using their traditional planning tool. Yes, they do dabble in tax planning. Yes, they do dabble in estate planning. They just don't do it to the extent that FP Alpha does. Got to kind of see it to believe it, but we definitely take it to the next level. Please continue to use Ray Capital. It's a great tool. We take it to the umpteenth level and go much deeper than they do.
Yes, and definitely take advantage of those free trials. If you go to fpalpha.com, you can access a free trial. And if you go to precisefp.com, there is a free trial button as well. Feel free to go in and test it all out and go from there. Thank you, everyone. Have a great rest of the day.